Welcome, everyone, to another week of the Focus TV. We got Octavia, Wyatt here, Raymond Lyons, and Wilson Tarpe Jr. Welcome to Season 7, Episode 17. Look, we're going to get right to it. Octavia, we're about a week away from actual NFL news. As free agency starts next Wednesday, but when we tape on Tuesday, tampering would have already begun on Monday, which means we're just waiting until Wednesday for some of that stuff to become true. So we're looking forward to that. Combine just happened this past weekend. We got some of that stuff we're going to touch on a rapid fire because people are crazy. Ray, I don't even think it's been a full 24 hours since we last talked about the Washington Wizards, but these good folks may not have been privy. So what's happened to the Washington Wizards since the last time you spoke to them?
Surprise, surprise. They've been losing since last Tuesday. Last Tuesday when we were recording, they were playing the Golden State Warriors. They lost that game 123-112, following back-to-back losses to the Lakers and the Clippers. And last night they fell to the Utah Jazz 127-115. Yeah, man, last night was just it was just one of those games that was kind of indicative of everything the Wizards struggle with. It always when they come out hot, it's a concern when the other team is still within like 5 points, because if you're on a heater like that and the team is still within striking distance, and when you're a team like the Wizards that doesn't have a second gear or never seems to catch their second win, we know the run from the other team is coming. And when that run comes, we know how that game is going to end. That's pretty much what happened in this game. They were up by 15 at one point. Utah kindly walked that down behind Colin Sexton and Jordan Clarkson. Nobody on the Wizards could guard either one of them. They had their way. They had 67 points between them. So that just tells you what kind of night those two had. But yeah, man, it's just it seems like teams play the Wizards with no fear of return fire. Like, they know eventually they only got to play 6 minutes of solid basketball to take control of the game at any point. And once they do, it's a wrap. And that's kind of what we saw last night. The 6 minute spurt came in the fourth quarter this time. The Wizards, they were hanging tough. Jordan Poole, he was having a great game. Then the fourth quarter came and Chris Dunn shut his water off, and the Wizards just fell apart. They only scored 14 points in the fourth quarter. Utah scored 25. A 12-point loss, and you get outscored by 11 in the final quarter. It's just another one of those games we always talk about where they had it in their grasp. They just couldn't seem to put the dots together to finish it off. And yeah, man, that's why it pains me to say it out loud, but they're 9-52. So let that sink in. Like that, it doesn't even sound real. So yeah, we say it over and over again. We're at ground zero. A lot of decisions going to have to be made. Guys are looking squarely at the two dudes at the top of the food chain there. Kyle Kuzma and Jordan Poole. Wilson says it all the time. This was a prime opportunity for them to kind of move into another echelon of player. They starting pretty much with a clean slate. Two guys. They won championships with other teams, but in a reserve role, which by no means discredit what they brought to those two franchises. But this is a different space they're moving into here, and just frankly, they haven't responded well. Which is evident by the team's record. But yeah, on a slightly positive note, Jordan Poole has been playing better as of late. Pretty much since he's been moved to the bench. He's been able to come in and just kind of feel his way into the game a little better. He's had some decent scoring outputs. Still Swiss cheese defensively, which can be said for all but two people on the team, to be perfectly honest. But yeah, man, the Washington Wizards. They'll be at home tomorrow night against the Magic and home against Charlotte on Friday. They have not won a game since January 29th. We're gonna see how long this goes. Just a funny fact. Cal Kuzma sent that tweet out. I think it was in like late December or something, in reference to the Detroit Pistons, talking about at this point it's just don't become that team. Well, they've now fell below that team. The Pistons set a record for the most consecutive losses in an NBA season this year. So the Wizards play the Pistons on March 29th. If they do not win until then, they will be going to set the record for the most consecutive losses against the Detroit Pistons. So everybody mark your calendars. I selfishly want to see that happen just for the comedy of it. So yeah, we'll be keeping you guys updated. And if that comes to pass, I might not be able to be allowed on the show because I'm just going to be inconsolable and it's going to be hilarious. But yeah, I just found that extremely funny. But yeah, man, that's the state of the home team.
Yeah, man. You found it funny. It just keeps hitting deeper levels of sadness. Like February, you went a whole month, not a dub, whole month. I truly hope in this climate you do not go 2 whole months without a dub. You are going to hit everyone's headlines for all the wrong reasons. And social media is not mature. Even despite you being 952, you've done a relatively good job of kind of staying out of the 952 because usually people got a lot of time when people are doing bad. Somehow you've gotten to this point, and social media hasn't shifted its full weight onto you yet. Lord, do not get to that Pistons game needing that win. Just don't. Something tells me by that time they might have the time to shift that whole thing to you and only you. All right, we're gonna move on to college basketball. Gonna fill in for Cardell as far as GW goes. GW men's basketball raced a 13-point deficit to take a second half lead on the road at LaSalle, but they went cold down the stretch as the Explorers pulled out a 72-66 win in the final game ever to be played at Tom Gola Arena. Get this up for you guys real quick, but GW, man, you want to talk about another group that's gone through it? Cardell's been letting us know each and every week. What started out so promising, the Wizards got company. GW found itself down 38-25 late in the first half, but they finished with 5 straight points to seemingly swing the momentum and cut the deficit at 8 at the intermission, which is what you guys are seeing here. The Revolutionaries then came out of the locker room firing, hitting 7 of their first 11 shots in the second half, accented by consecutive 3-pointers from James Bishop. The fourth to take the lead 48-46 with 13:55 left. A back-and-forth affair then followed with neither team leading by more than a possession until a Khalil Brantley pull-up gave LaSalle a 60-56 lead with less than 8 minutes left. Bishop drew GW within 2 on a jumper with 6:51 remaining, but the Buff and Blue would go on to miss their next 8 shots before a layup from Bishop with 12 seconds left. By that point, LaSalle had put the game away thanks in part to a putback dunk from Deshaun Shepard in the final minute that gave the Explorers their largest lead of the half. Darren Buchanan Jr. led the Revolutionaries with his second straight 21-point effort, adding 6 rebounds and 2 assists. Bishop tallied 18 points, and Jacob Hutchinson he provided 15 points and 4 rebounds. GW was without the services of Maximus Edwards, Garrett Johnson, and Antoine Smith Jr. in the game due to various ailments. That is a lot of folks that carry a role on this team that they were missing. That said, you still need to do what you need to do to get the dub. The Buff and Blue will now return home for a senior night celebration on Wednesday when they host St. Bonaventure. Tip-off is scheduled for 7 p.m. on ESPN Plus, with pregame festivities honoring Babatunde Akimbola Bishop and Antoine Smith taking place at approximately 6:45 p.m. So congrats to those gentlemen on their senior night early. And hopefully they get the dub. Be a good way to kind of go out on what's been a tough regular season. On to another group that's gone through it at times this year. Got the Maryland women. They had 2 games this past week. Since last time we spoke, they were coming off a loss to Iowa State on the road. Since then, they played the final 2 games on the regular season schedule, the one that you guys are seeing right now. The first being a home win against visiting Wisconsin, 79-63. Maryland dominated the first half, giving up just 19 total points, which is similar to their win over Rutgers about a week ago, where it was a dominant first half outing, went into the half in control. However, the Terps had a poor third quarter. Wisconsin was able to cut the lead down to as little as 6 before Maryland regained their footing and put the game away. The Terps had 4 players score in double figures, led by Jakia Brown-Turner's 18 points and 10 rebounds. Bree McDaniel and Cheyenne Sellers added 16 apiece, while Ali Kubek finished with 11 points and 5 rebounds. Maryland also got good minutes from Renee Alexander and Emily Fisher. Maryland faced Indiana on the road to close the regular season. The Hoosiers started fast, but Maryland was able to respond with a run of their own to close the gap. Indiana started the second quarter fast as well, using a 15-0 run to erase everything Maryland had done to close that first quarter, pushing their lead to as many as 20 late in the first half. Things were more even in the second half. I think it was 16-15 in the third, 16-15 in the fourth. But Ray, as we've seen several times with the Wizards, like you mentioned, 6-minute stretch here, 8-minute stretch here, a bad quarter could do you in. And that's been what it's been for Maryland when they faced teams in the top 25. Like, to the degree, again, going back to the strength of schedule, almost every one of their losses has been registered as a quad 1 loss. Like, they technically don't have a bad loss on their schedule. Although I'm sure if you ask any player or Coach Freeze, there's no such thing as a good loss. All right, so just keep that in perspective as well. Coach Freeze had this to say after the game as Maryland were not able to climb out that deep hole. The difficult night for us, shooting 30% from the field. This team, I know, will get ready and get to the Big Ten tournament with the neutral court. They've always continued to take their lessons and learn and continue to keep fighting. So looking forward to getting to Minneapolis. The Terps, they finished the regular season 17-12, 9-9 in the Big Ten. They finished in a 3-way tie for 6th on the Big Ten in the Big Ten on Sunday, and will be the number 8 seed in the 2024 Big Ten tournament. The Terps tied with Michigan and Penn State in the final league standings. Maryland will play 9th seeded Illinois. Illinois is 14-14, 8-10 in conference play. Thursday at 12:30 p.m. Eastern in the second round. Thursday's game will be televised on the Big Ten Network. Some postseason awards. We had Junior Cheyenne Sellers was named first team honoree by both the coaches and media. Graduate student Jakia Brown-Turner was named to the second team by the league's coaches and earned honorable mention honors from the media. Sophomore Bree McDaniel earned honorable mention honors from both groups. So congrats to each and every one of those ladies. Continue to compete in a tough season. And the season's not over. We got the Big Ten tournament. Usually Maryland's in a different place when we get to this part of the season. We're going to see how this group fares. Still have an opportunity to go out and make some noise in the conference tournament and further add to your resume as we get closer and closer to Selection Monday. We're going to take our first break. When we get back, going to update you guys on DC United. Then we're going to get into rapid fire. Shocker, as I mentioned earlier, a little NFL heavy, but we got one NBA question, which is certainly a doozy, and I can't wait to see you guys' faces when I read the NBA question, because ESPN did not disappoint you. Just I promise you that. That's all I got as a teaser. You're watching the Focus TV. We will return shortly. Welcome back to the Focus TV. As promised, going to discuss DC United's second game of the regular season. As you guys can see, this game is in Portland on the road, and this is the first game that new coach Troy Lucine has actually been able to be on the sideline for. As in the first game, he was not, because he was suspended due to something from his prior stint with the New York Red Bulls. Early on this game, 17th minute, off a counterattack. This is something DC United is going to have to deal with all season long. We have Santiago Moreno races down the flank. He cuts in and finds Darian Esprilla. When they show the replay, really good dummy here by Moreno. Caught the defender. All speed from this point. Crashes in. Creates a nice passing lane. And Esprilla does the rest. DC would get a solid chance in the 30th minute as Stroud dropped the diamond to the box and Christian DeHome just couldn't finish it. It was a hell of a pass and a good header. It was on frame, just couldn't beat the keeper. In the 37th minute, Portland gets a good chance, but they go wide. This is the pass to DeHome. Again, a great pass. They did not have the services of Christian Benteke in this one, who picked up a knock while warming up for this game. So credit to DC United for what this result eventually turned out to be. Bono gets enough of a shot from Williamson before the end of the first half, which you guys will see in a little bit, to keep DC within one, because it's a prime opportunity for Portland to take a 2-0 lead before the break. Free kick in the 46th minute for DC. We saw Matthias Klick play it short to a running Pirani. Pirani couldn't get enough torque or turn on the ball to get the ball on frame. Instead, it just went wide. Then we had DeHome hitting the post after a very good run, which had to hurt because it was a really, really good play shot, a well-played shot. Just the post did a great job defending it. Here it is right here. Beat the keeper. Did everything he needed to do. The post denied him. Cudi Pietro couldn't get the ball on the rebound. The black and red definitely came out far more aggressive in the second half. Moreno would get a goal of his own in the 60th minute as a ball into the box was misplayed by two players, one from each team. Moreno saw the ball fall to his feet and calmly put it away to give Portland a 2-1 lead. In the 68th minute, off a free kick by DC, we saw Pedro Santos put the ball into the box. It appeared to went off the hand of a Portland player, and good old video review coming through for DC United when they needed it, because it led to a penalty kick. Trying to find it for you guys. Here we go. There we go. It was a horrible. It's one of those moments where the defender can't say anything. Everybody put their hand up. I guess he was trying to signal that it was offsides. Wrong time to do that. Either way, Matthias Klick stepped up to the spot, calmly put it away, and DC United was on the board. Then got to take time to give the Portland keeper a lot of credit. DC United got several chances after scoring this goal, and he made save after save. In the 81st minute, DC United got the equalizer, and it came by way of Aaron Herrera. He gets the ball out wide, plays it into the box. It was a beautiful pass. You guys are going to see this here. Way to switch fields. Don't know why he was so open here. Finds Herrera, slides across the box to Christian Fletcher. The youngster puts it away. And DC United left Portland that long trip out west. They leave with 1 point with the 2-2 draw. So credit to them. They got exactly what they needed. Obviously, you would have liked the dub. But to go get the 2-2 draw without a man who scored a hat trick the previous week, kind of a big piece missing, credit to them for that. And it means that they remain unbeaten to start the year. This weekend, give me a second, because I don't want to tell you guys the wrong team that they're playing, because I told you guys the wrong team last week. And kind of led everyone astray. I jumped the gun a couple weeks early, excited about DC United going to take on Inter Miami. But up next is FC Cincinnati for DC United. They'll be taking them on Sunday, March 10th at TQL Stadium. So again, DC United remains unbeaten. Good start to the season. Good start underneath the new regime. So Wizards fans, look, there's possibility once a new regime comes in that you can go for it. Obviously, you're a little bit further behind because they have a Christian Benteke. They have one of those. They have one of those things you slam down on the table and go, "This is a guy." They got one of those already. So DC United got accelerated just a little bit. Again, it's only 2 games, but credit to them for starting this season unbeaten. We're going to take our second break. When we get back, we're going to jump into rapid fire. And Octavia, I can't wait to hear what you have to say about the NFL and what type of hijinks these teams have been up to. It was a deadline day for the franchise tag, and some people got tagged, some people didn't get tagged, some people got fake tagged, some people got transitional tagged, some people just got flat out cut on their day off. So fun times in the NFL. We're going to take a break, and when we get back, rapid fire. Welcome back to the Focus TV. Let's get straight to it. Throw this up here real quick for rapid fire. But this is where we're starting. You guys see what's on the screen. I'm sure you guys have heard by now. How do we start this? That's the question. All right, Russell Wilson. The Broncos have informed Russell Wilson that they'll release him after the start of the league year, which officially starts March 13th at 4 p.m. Eastern. So that's when a bunch of the deals that you'll hear about leaked out on Monday and Tuesday of next week will officially count or become official. 4:01 p.m. March 13th. By releasing Russ, Denver has to decide how they want to spread out that $85 million hit they're going to take in dead money. Again, $85 million. They can split it up between 2 years. So my question to you guys, what does this mean? First for the Broncos and also for Russ. I think the options are like 63 1 year, the remaining the next year, 53 1 year, the remaining the next year in terms of dead cap. You traded quite a bit to go land Russell Wilson. Last year happened the way that it did, and we're here. So Octavia, we're going to start with you. Your thoughts on what this means for both parties.
I mean, my first thought is, they've been talking about this for a long time, so I'm not surprised that it actually happened. But my first thought is so what is Denver going to do behind Russell? For the life of me, I can't even remember who started those 2 games where they benched him at the end of the season. So that should tell you enough that whoever is there is not memorable. So to me, I'm wondering what they're going to do. I had to look at their draft position. They picked 12th. And we pretty much know top 2-ish, 3-ish quarterbacks that are going to go off the board. So I would be interested to see who does Sean Payton seemingly like, or if he's in the market for maybe not a rookie, but for some type of vet. I'm just I don't know where they're going as far as that aspect of it. Russell's the real winner in this anyway. He got a bag, and that's, to be honest, of course he wants to win. But it's not like he's never won before, but of course he wants to win. He got the bag, and now he can pretty much, parlay that into another team. There are a lot of teams that would kill to have Russell Wilson as their quarterback. So I'm also just, interested to see how everything shakes up with, like you said, this tampering that's about to start in the next few days. But yeah, they definitely, it was Jarrett Stidham. That's who it was. That's why I couldn't remember, because it's Jarrett Stidham. If Jarrett Stidham starts for the Broncos next year, I don't know what they're doing. I guess Sean Payton still feels like he is the quarterback whisperer, even though it's only been Drew Brees. No shade to Drew Brees. He's a great quarterback, but I don't really know. But yeah, I want to see what they're gonna do, because they got a lot going on, like you said. And that Walmart money definitely gets thrown around a lot out there in Denver. So they definitely I'm sure they got a lot they can play with, just depending on what the cap numbers are and everything. But yeah, it just seems like Sean Payton just knew that wasn't the guy that he wanted when he came in, and he just decided to deal with it for the season. And the first opportunity that they got to move on, that's what they did. Um, I'm really interested to see where Russell will end up. A lot of people are debating back and forth. Will he be a backup or will he be a starter? I can't see him as a backup just because there are so many teams in the NFL that don't even have somebody that's half the player Russell is. And again, I don't think he played bad last year. I just don't think that Sean Payton wanted him. I think the year before, definitely. But I attribute not all, but a good amount to the non head coach that they had at the time. So I still believe in Russell. I still think that he would be able to get back to pre Denver form. Um, I don't know. It's something about it. If you're not really John Elway or um, Peyton Manning, I don't really know what other quarterbacks are going to be well remembered in Denver. So I mean, it's not like they have a great track record outside of those two anyway. So it doesn't surprise me in that aspect either. But I'm more so just interested to see how both Russell and Denver fares after this parting, because like I said, it's been inevitable since before the season ended. But he's gonna get his bag. The team could take him for a vet minimum and not have to worry about paying him because Denver owes him so much money that they're gonna have to pay him. So he could take a vet minimum, reestablish himself somewhere. There's been some teams that they've thrown around, but I haven't heard, because I know a lot of people talking about the Steelers, but I think the Steelers came out and said they weren't interested in certain quarterbacks. I can't remember if Russell was one of them, because they've been linked to like him and Justin Fields and others. So who knows? It's the NFL, so nothing surprises me when it comes down to contracts and negotiations and getting one over on somebody else. But I'm just interested to see how it all breaks even afterwards.
Ray, your thoughts on everything that's going on in Denver?
Yeah, excuse me, like Octavia said, man, this is not a shock. The writing was on the wall mid-season. We knew this marriage wasn't going to last long. And yeah, I hope Denver has a plan because they appear to be in shambles right now. But more power to them. I hope they figure that out. And yeah, if they're going to go into the 2024 season with Jared Stidham under center, you deserve everything you get. But yeah, man, and again, yeah, Russell Wilson is the obvious winner here. He gets out of a tumultuous situation, and he's gonna have a lot of options. I wouldn't mind seeing him in Pittsburgh. Atlanta got a little interesting situation going on down there. He might be able to walk into. And I mean, just being far fetched here, maybe the Bears trade that pick and bring him in. You know, but yeah, like I say, we said, man, he's not gonna have any shortage of suitors. He's still very capable. And it's a lot of teams that he's better than the guy they got. So I mean, he'll have his pick, and hopefully he ends up in a good spot where he can he can continue to have success. But yeah, this is crazy, man, the way this whole thing unfolded. Yeah, and I don't think anybody's going to be rushing to go there when you're a bad team and you just discarded a player of Russell Wilson's caliber like that. Like, people are watching, man. Like, you gotta treat people right. If you don't want them, cool. That's fine. Like, you're not beholden to anybody, but you gotta be careful about how you send people packing, man, because that stuff reverberates. And I don't think Russell Wilson is not well liked. So yeah, But yeah, good luck to the Broncos. You're gonna need it.
We need Cardell's opinion on this one too. We gotta ask him this next week.
For sure, have to ask. I just hope Sean Payton knows what he's doing. Like Drew Brees not walking through that door. There's not a bunch of other veteran-laden quarterbacks. Like the veteran quarterbacks available right now are the guy you just kicked out the door, kicked out the door, and Kirk Cousins, who's coming off an Achilles injury. Those are the two. Every other veteran dude, unless you about to go get Jimmy G, you know who, and I'm gonna laugh at you if you kick Russ out the door for that. Boy, that's hilarious. I've never seen some. I'm gonna leave that alone. I don't know what Sean Payton's doing. I've seen people write a whole bunch of like think pieces, not even think pieces, but like, oh, all the reasons teams wouldn't want Russ. All right, all that sounds well and good, right? Let's fast forward to the draft, right? So there's a possibility you could get Russell Wilson and pay the young quarterback you draft more than Russell Wilson and have the kid sit. Y'all do get that because of Denver, this is possible for some team. Or if you're some team that can't trade up because people are taxing, you go, let's see how far Michael Penix falls. I'm cool. Let's see how far JJ McCarthy, if you like him, whatever it may be, falls. And I'll just sign Russ. And if it doesn't work, I'll burn us pick on a quarterback next year. And I paid Russell Wilson nothing because you're paying. But like Ray said, with Denver, I don't know. I hope this works, Sean Payton, because right now you had to run to New Orleans and it doesn't look good so far outside of it right now. Like year one, you got to turn some things around. And it's dark out there. Like that's where the Chiefs live. It's dark outside already. You can't afford to not catch up quicker. All right, on to another very fun team, the New York Football Giants. You guys know this team well. They're in you guys' division. After all the back and forth last year with Saquon Barkley, do you know what the Giants did today? They decided not to tag this man. They weren't ready to let him go to free agency last year. But this year they were like, hey, go ahead, don't worry about it. So the 26-year-old is going to hit free agency. After everything they went through last year to get him to sign to that 1-year deal to get through this past year, why did they decide to let this man go now? And also, where's Barkley's best fit, or where do you want him to land? Octavia
and I mean, it's the Giants, so nothing surprises me with them either. Again, the biggest winner in this is Saquon. Run far, far, far away from Meadowlands, or I don't even remember what it's called now, wherever they play at. Just be grateful that you get to leave. And when you leave, if you're not coming to my team, leave the whole division. Won't need any of that. But yeah, I mean, it leads me to believe that although it wasn't in his contract that they wouldn't franchise tag him, that it was some type of understanding that they wouldn't franchise tag him again. Because it makes no sense to do everything you did last year and for him to have a very good season outside of the fact that the team was terrible, to now decide to, I guess we'll let you go now after you've had an even better season. We gave you nothing to work with last year because we gave all of our money to Daniel Jones and he barely made it through the season. And we're already looking for another quarterback to replace him anyway. So yeah, I mean, it doesn't surprise me that the Giants haven't been right since I don't know when. A lot of teams should be beating down his door to get a Saquon Barkley, as long as he can stay healthy. Because that's, to me, that's the only knock on him, is that as long as he can stay healthy, he's the guy that can definitely change a team that's looking for a number one guy. And he's still relatively young when it comes to running backs, I guess. I mean, Derrick Henry's out here at 30 years old and they're calling him a grandpa at this point. So Saquon being 26, you figure you got a little bit more time. And as long as, like I said, as long as he can stay healthy, I ain't gonna lie, I wouldn't mind to see him in Philly. I mean, he played for Penn State. He can just come on back. He knows where everything is. And he'll get to play against his old team twice. Like that's got to be something good too. Stay far away from Dallas. Please don't do that. But essentially I could outside of the division. And I mean, I don't know who it really. I mean, the rich don't need to get any richer when it comes to like the Chiefs or anything like that. So I mean, granted, I mean they got a guy there that I think is going to be good. With Pacheco, we see what he's done the last 2 years anyway. But there's not many teams that would not be good with Saquon Barkley. I mean, the home team here, they're hurting for a running back themselves. So that's definitely they should be talking about. I think I saw a report where they said the Cowboys and the Eagles were interested. Didn't hear too much about the Washington Commanders. They should be definitely interested. Can you imagine him with the Ravens? That would just be torture, like complete torture. And they've had a carousel of running backs as well, with a lot of injuries. So that would be terrible for some teams. But yeah, I personally think he'll have his picking, of where he really wants to go, where he wants to end up. I'm sure his agent is very busy right now. So I really can't wait. Like this is like the next fun part after the season's over to see where everybody moves around to and all the shuffling and moving parts and pieces that go with it. But he's the real winner out of this, as much as he says, honestly, he's the real winner out of it because he was very, very loyal to them, through everything, through them saying he's not worth this, he's not worth that. He still came back. He still signed the deal. He still played pretty well. I mean, he was out there basically the running back and the wide receiver. He was running the ball, catching the ball. I'm sure he could probably throw the ball at this point as well. So he's definitely the winner in it. He comes out as a team guy, which I'm sure he is, a loyal guy, which I'm sure he is. Any team would be lucky to have him. But if it's not my team, get out the NFC East.
Yeah, man. I've been waiting for them to get here ever since they gave Daniel Jones all that money. That was just unnecessary, man. And yeah, they don't deserve him. I hope he lands somewhere where he can be appreciated. Like Octavia said, if it's not on my team, go far away from the division. But yeah, man, he's obviously got something left in the tank. I think he had 1,300 yards in 2022. I think he was approaching 1,000 last year as well. So yeah, man, he's literally been the backbone of the Giants whenever he's healthy. So yeah, man, like we just talked about the last team, watch how you treat people. It just makes no sense, man. There's no reason for it. But they made the decisions they made, and yeah, now they're in the position they're in. Hope it works out for them. But you got a tall mountain to climb here. Yeah, like one simple decision sets you back in numerous ways, and that type of stuff is hard to come back from. So yeah, I hope they're happy. But yes, Saquon, he's gonna go somewhere, and I can imagine he's gonna have a battery in his back from how he's been treated these last few years. So, if he doesn't go to Dallas, then what have you. But congratulations to whoever gets him, because they're getting a pretty good player.
Yeah, usually how this works when it's a really good player, I expect to see him in the NFC West just because that's just how life works. So Octavia, if it's a good player, like I just immediately feel like, okay, I'll see you twice a year, because there's no such thing as me just having fun throughout regular season and relaxing during division games. There's just somebody gonna do it. Kyron Williams.
I think they like him in LA.
Hey, look, it sounds great.
until you get a Saquon. I
think you've done a great job, young man. I'm sure you have a promising future, sir. You trying to tell me Sean McVay gonna look this dude in the face and not try to get his Todd Gurley back as close to it as possible?
I was that's Seattle, maybe.
Or Seattle, because Mike McDonald over there cleaning house. Like, it looks like you over 26. He ain't got time for you. Like, he kicked both of the safeties out the building today.
He's a tight end. Jeez.
And that's just beginning. But also, like, I would actually worry about Washington in y'all division because of the new regime in there. That seems like the new regime vibes of we want to be extra physical and bring that NFC West crap into y'all division, which will be funny, so I can at least kick my feet up and laugh to see how the other 3 teams in the division deal with that. Because I know Adam Peters over there thinking, like, what if we make this the 5th NFC West team, but we're in the NFC East? Who knows? Could be fun. Would be y'all's problem, not mine. But like you guys said, there's a lot of good teams that would love, like, even Pacheco, I'm looking you in the face, man. I thought you've done good too. Bro, if the price is right, you telling me you're not going to?
And I just thought about Buffalo.
It doesn't matter. He won't get the ball Buffalo. He can go to Buffalo. I ain't worried about that. Oh, man, I ain't worried about it. He won't touch the ball unless Josh Allen go down. Not worried about it. Sorry, Buffalo. But, the truth hurts. The Carolina Panthers, my favorite team in the last 3 years, because they just always give people stuff that shouldn't be available. The Panthers had a rough go over the past few seasons. They are fresh off the trade for Bryce Young last year. They saw DJ Moore go to Chicago for this year's first round pick. And lo and behold, the team who traded up for the first overall pick last year is still bad. So this turned out to be the first overall pick this year. So you sent DJ Moore away in that trade, which was wide receiver 1 for you guys. Congratulations! I'm sure it didn't hurt. You send your RB1 over to San Francisco for a bevy of not day 1 picks. Shout out to you guys. I'm sure that's worked out as well. No big deal. I think he's the ripe old age of 27, and he was under contract, so it's fixed. You can't even do anything about it. Shout out to you guys for that, which meant you probably had him on a discount. But then you also cut Dante Jackson that you drafted and did well with and told him thanks for everything. The guy in the picture, though, you guys might have heard of him, is Brian Burns, one of the best pass rushers in the league. Last year, they tried to get the deal done with Brian Burns a year early. They failed to do so. So he just played this year on his 5th-year option. So they have tagged him. Shocker. But because it's the Carolina Panthers and nothing is quite cut and dry with them, they put a non-exclusive tag on Brian Burns. Again, just to share that with you guys, which means, like, we like you a lot, but if somebody comes to the door, slides us 2 ones, we're cool. Also, Brian and his team are allowed to negotiate with other teams and pretty much do like a price match, depending on what they come back with. We can match it, or we can tell you know what, here, and then we can work out alternate compensation. And keep that in mind while we're thinking about that. They've had a changing of the guard there. They got a new regime. This is from head coach Dave Canales, I think, today. This is not verbatim, but paraphrasing it. He says he has the advantage of not having an emotional connection to any of the players, so simply guided what's best for the team. Brian Burns is best. It's been real. I wonder what really good team's about to get a $30 million edge rusher, and maybe they'll have 2. So shout out to the Carolina Panthers for once again looking like they're going to replenish one of the better teams in the league with a 26-year-old edge rusher whose production only went down because, I don't know, he had the first pick in the draft, so the team was bad. It's hard to rush the passer when you're losing. Teams can just run. Ray, we'll start with you.
What are they doing, man? Like, and then for the the new guy coming to make a statement like that without clearly stating you're not talking about him, you're basically saying, thank you for your services. I bid you good fortune in the wars to come. this is foolishness, man. It's professional malpractice. Like I don't get it. But yeah, somebody's about to get lucky because he's not going to be there next year. It's just a formality at this point. I don't know why we're even going through all this. Just let him be an unrestricted free agent, man. Like, because that's basically what he is now anyway. So, yeah, yeah, Carolina's gonna stink for a while because this is just like this is mind-blowingly incompetent the way they've been operating. So, yeah, man, more power to them.
You know, some fans are like, "Oh, they're trying to have money for Derek Brown and all that other stuff." Right? You ain't paying nobody. You got money for both of them dudes. Like, what are we talking about, bro? Like, what didn't we hear? Like, the most advantageous thing to anybody is having a quarterback on a rookie deal. Bryce going a year or two. You can't afford Brian Burns. This is a choice. Octavia. I heard you guys might be moving on from Hassan Reddick. Would you like to have a Brian Burns? Do you have $30 million available?
I was like, you should have just seen me trying to say, how many first round picks do we have? Because come on, man. And what's so funny for me is that, again, I went to college in North Carolina. So a lot of my college friends, my friends on Facebook, are all Panthers fans. And I know they are not happy at all about this. I mean, it's freaking Brian Burns. Like, he was probably the only bright spot that they had last year. And that's with having the number one pick, Bryce Young. Now, no fault of Bryce Young. I don't really feel like I can judge him off of last year because there was literally nothing around him to give him any type of chance to succeed. Here we are, another year starting with another head coach and another coaching regime. There have been reports about how the owner is very much so just, I want to win now, I want to win now, I want to win now, and not really understanding how it really works in the NFL. And it just seems like he's trying to plug and play every single person in every single position as time goes on. And it has not worked since like when was Cam there? 2017, 2015, something like that. It's been a long time. But yeah, he not gonna be there. I bet you he is in his agent's ear every day. Get me a deal to get me out of here, please. Please get me out of here. Find somebody that will take me away from this place. Make it high enough that Carolina won't match it, please. Like, he is dying to get out of Carolina because I don't know what they're doing. I don't think they know what they're doing, and that's the crazy part about it. And the head coach, sir, have several seats. How are you coming in to an organization and the first thing you say is, well, I don't have any ties to anybody? Like, okay, first of all, yes, we know that. But why do you have to say that out loud? Like, it's obvious that you're new. And of course, you probably don't know all the players that are there. But to blatantly come out and say, and it's going to make players be like, well, why do I want to be here? Like, why would I want to be here if a coach can just obliviously just come out and say, like, well, I don't really care about anybody here. It's just, cut dry. This is what I want, and this is how it's going to go. I don't think that's a good way to win over a team. Because granted, there might be people that you're not attached to, but there are people that are still going to be there, even if you might not want them. There's going to be a few. As hands-on as we know as their owner is. So maybe the owner, I'm sure the owner has some say somewhere about who he wants to stay. And maybe you don't necessarily agree with that, but they're going to stay. So my thing is, like, why even come out and put yourself in that situation and say something like that? Like, it makes me think, like, do coaches go through media training as well? Because I don't understand what y'all be saying. So, like, I know the players are supposed to go through it, but the coach needs it too, or just be quiet. This did not need to be discussed. But congratulations to Brian Burns for getting out of Charlotte, North Carolina. Only come to my division if you're on my team. Outside of that, I do not need you chasing Jalen Hurts around nowhere. So, like Wilson said, maybe you'll end up in the NFC West somewhere. And God knows they don't need nothing else out there either. But yeah, that's crazy. It's ludicrous.
And all I'm thinking when they put that non-exclusive tag on that man, I'm like, I know Les Snead and Sean McVay was like, man, we don't need no first. I know they over there like I don't care about no first.
You right about that.
He's added 3 starters last year with a bunch of 5th and 6th round picks. I know they don't care.
They're like, yeah, F them picks.
I know they sitting over there. Man, I know they sitting over there like, I mean, if there was a reason to go back to that, you know, Aaron's not going to be here forever.
Jeez.
Like, thanks, Carolina, but I can't get too mad, man. Y'all gave me CMC, so it's love. Y'all do what y'all got to do. I appreciate y'all.
That's true.
We're going to end with this one. We got the non-NFL question because ESPN's Ramona Shelburne on, I think it was like NBA Today or what is it that comes on in the afternoon?
NBA Today.
It's NBA Today? Okay, cool. I don't know. So I had written just NBA program. I didn't want to be rude. So this is what Ramona Shelburne said when the esteemed panel was discussing Victor Wembanyama. Again, his rookie year. Quote, Victor is here and he wants to win. I don't know how patient he's going to be with the Spurs. I don't think he wants to sit here at the bottom of the lottery standings. Why? Part of the lottery standings, sorry. Just my question is, why do you think they're even how do we even get to this statement with 20 some odd games left in his rookie year? Right.
Basketball discourse is it's in the sewer, man. Like, what do you mean? I don't think he's going to be patient. Like, he's a rookie. He ain't got nothing but time, brother. I'll be so glad when we can get back to letting things play out and not putting these lofty expectations on first-year players and all this other crap. Like, it just doesn't make any sense, man. The kid's playing really well. Nobody expected the Spurs to be contenders this year, so I don't know why it's a shock that they're not winning a lot of games. This is just unnecessary and out of left field. I don't know if it's possible at this point, but we got to get away from this drive engagement mode of talking about sports, man. Just talk about the game. There's a lot to talk about. You don't have to make shit up. You know, this kid's having a great rookie season, like, and he's figuring it out more and more game by game. So in 2 or 3 years, they're going to be good regardless because he's on the team. How about let him get out of his rookie deal first before we start talking about expectations and patience, and he can't even buy a drink. Like, come on, man. What are we doing here? Like, I'm just sick of it, man. And like, I don't know how we move on from this. But yeah, something's got to give because this is terrible. Like, I'm with you, Wilson. Like, I haven't watched the ESPN show in probably more than 10 years. Like, it's just terrible. It's no need to watch it. Like, because they're not talking about basketball. They talking about soap opera stuff and made up storylines and drama. I don't want no parts of that. But yeah, man, just let the kid grow and develop. And, you know, related but unrelated, I remember a lot of people saying Victor Wembanyama was not going to be a good NBA player. I just want you all to look in the mirror and live with that. I'm not going to let you forget ever. I just never understood that discourse. But yeah, we got to get away from this nonsense. Talking about what guys are going to be patient about in their rookie season. Like, let some stuff play out for a little bit.
Octavia, before I pass it to you, another member of the esteemed panel was like, the pressure's on Pop and the Spurs to make sure that the Spurs are good. Otherwise, he wants to leave. Mind you, this is the NBA, and folks force themselves out of rookie contracts all the time. Octavia.
Yeah, Kendrick Perkins be high. I don't know what he be talking about. I know that's exactly what you're talking about. Yeah, man. Like, I hate this too. Like, let him grow and let him develop. Like, we're seeing, and I understand the excitement behind it because of how well he's playing as a rookie that everybody's just like, oh my God, like this. And I guess they're looking to replace LeBron as he, gets into the latter stages of his career. So I guess they're gravitating towards Wemby now, which is fine because he's going to be a hell of a player. And just like Ray said, like there were a lot of you that didn't even believe that he was going to be this. He's too tall. Well, not too tall. He's too skinny. They're going to throw him around and all this other stuff. And he out there and kill him. But granted, it's the Spurs. Like I could slightly, maybe this much, understand it if he was in any other organization. It's the Spurs. The Spurs, granted, they have had their down years over the last couple of years, but it's Greg Popovich and it's the Spurs. They're going to have it fine together whenever it happens. But the fact to see her and say, is he going to be patient? Because then that also puts a negative stereotype on him. Like, how do you know that he's like, are you just insinuating that he's going to be the type of person that wants to push his way out of something, every time it may not seem like it's going his way in that moment? There are plenty of players that do stick it out with organizations because that's just what they want to do. Now, granted, it may change in the latter years. The only example I have off the top of my head before last year was Damian Lillard. Dirk Nowitzki stuck it out a lot of times. He got a championship out of it. So to put that type of stigma on him without even knowing what he really wants to do is also asinine, in my opinion. But yeah, he's played 61 games. They got a better record than the Wizards. And he's doing crazy things. So I understand your excitement, NBA Live, NBA Today, whatever it is, NBA Today. I understand your excitement, but relax. He's a rookie. He's only going to get better, and he should get better throughout his rookie year and his sophomore year and be able to grow into a good NBA player, which he is now, but continuously grow into one. So it's just crazy. I agree with you, Ray, too. It's like, I just wish I would just talk about the game, because a couple of weeks ago, we were talking about how nobody's been talking about his crazy stat line. But now here we are 3 weeks later, he's not going to be patient. The timeline is going to timeline and he's going to want to get out and relax. Because a lot of people were saying that about OKC a couple years ago as well. And you see where they at. So relax. Let it develop. Let's see what happens. Everybody doesn't have to run and want to be a super team. Everybody doesn't have to run for the work. And I believe he knows he's in a good place. We all know what Pop is. Like, come on. But again, nothing surprises me in the worldwide world of sports, NFL, NBA. The only show I watch on ESPN is Get Up. That's my favorite show because Greeny's funny, but that's about it.
Greeny is very funny, and even he might not have said this.
I don't think he would have said this.
Dude was one of the greatest coaches ever. He got drafted and had dinner with Tim, Manu, Tony, David Robinson. Like, it's not even regular rookie stuff. Regular rookies, this is not a regular landing spot. So you're gonna meet all them people, look at them, be like, "Oh, I'm ready to go." Also, if we would just, cover the game, I don't know the young man, but just from afar, looking through some of the stuff, that he said consistently, since we've heard from him consistently. Have any of you guys got the idea that he's wired with this new narrative-driven type stuff? To me, he seems wired kind of like the older folks. Dude just be wanting to hoop and work. That's it. He seems quite content. Also, all the crap he's doing, he's not even allowed to play more than 30 minutes a night. Like, what happens next, before his rookie deal comes up? What happens when he starts playing 38? Has games when he plays 38 minutes, 30, 35 minutes, etc. Y'all don't think the Spurs are going to try to get better? Like, was Tim not surrounded by good players? That's what we're about to do. They didn't even let David Robinson age out correctly. He got a whole new young Tim Duncan on his way out.
That's what I'm saying.
This organization, we're going to say this about the pressures on them. Right?
Forget about it.
They're watching dude change the league and he doesn't know what he's doing. When some of these fools become free agents, you think they're not going to run down there knowing I don't have to play defense? Like we're in an era where people don't play defense, and you got a 7'4" safety back there. Where else would you like to go? All I gotta do is make sure, anytime I see the longest arm on the court sticking up in the air, I throw it up there. That's it. Outside of that, the ball gets hit back there, I can shoot. Like, what are we doing? But like Ray said, just cover the freaking game. We wouldn't be saying stupid stuff like this. Like, everyone doesn't want to have the decision. Okay? Like, I'm sorry. I know it was a fun time. It led to a lot of different things in this industry, but can we get through the next 20-some games, please? For us all, can we just get to the end of the rookie season? Like, literally, we went from, like you guys said, he's not that good, Chet's better, to he's ready to force his way out. Y'all got to just pick one, please. This thing it's changed like 7 times, and it's his rookie year. Clearly, y'all aren't going to have any type of chill when it comes to this team going forward. But we want to thank you guys for tuning in this week. We will see you guys next week, probably as a whole group once again. And you guys just got to remind ourselves to ask Cardell about Russell and Broncos next week as free agency starts. But y'all have a great week. Don't forget, Wednesday mornings as early as 9 a.m. The show is available on Roku. If you have Roku television or device, all you have to do is type in Focus TV on the search box, double tap OK on your remote, and the channel has been added. Y'all have a good week.
Oh, yeah.